get you other news worth your attention. The Eastern Cape government is hosting a two-day meeting under the district development model in Gqeberha. In fact, the theme is all of government and all of society, with the engagement aimed at accelerating the implementation of service delivery. Our reporter Lerato Fekisi has more.
We're broadcasting live from the District Development Model Engagement, which will see various stakeholders from national, provincial, local, councillors, members of the clergy, traditional leaders, all gathered with one objective: to try and find solutions to the many infrastructure problems facing the Eastern Cape. You'll know that the Eastern Cape is facing huge issues of water, electricity, and also dilapidated roads. And it is hoped that in the next couple of days, in the next 2 days, the various stakeholders will come together and find tangible solutions to these problems. I'm joined this morning by Gqeberha, who is the government spokesperson in the Eastern Cape. Gqeberha, today is a really coming together of minds to try and find solutions to the many problems facing the Eastern Cape, and I think top of the agenda must be the issue of water.
Yes, Lerato, we are coming together as government, and we saw it fit to utilize the platform of the district development model to bring not just government institutions but private sector and civil society to come together to find ways of dealing with some of the challenges that the province face. And as you say, water is but one of those challenges, and as we have experienced in some municipalities like your Buffalo City, at times the infrastructure for water is top-notch, but the challenge is electricity. So we need then as government institutions to come together and say, what do we need to be doing to unlock those challenges? For example, Lerato, you'd understand that in the last year, the Ministry of Police, together with the South African Police Services in the Eastern Cape, as well as this Nelson Mandela Metro Municipality, signed a memorandum of cooperation, and with that a memorandum they signed it with business society so that they can come together, bring their resources together, utilizing again the district development model to deal with issues of crime in this specific area. So that's the type of engagement that we are going to be having over the next 2 days, with today focusing on heads of institutions, your CEOs, and leaders of society in general, and tomorrow the engagement will then be taken to our political principles, so that at the level of policymakers also they understand what are some of the decisions that need to be taken to enable this work to go forward.
Speaking about leaders, Gqeberha, I think an important role, or important people that have to also play a significant role to dealing with the issues that are facing municipalities are leaders. And we saw in Makhanda last week residents marching against what they were saying is a speaker and a mayor who they say is the cause behind the breakdown or the fall of Makhanda. How important is also going to be to have the conversation around accountable leadership, ethical leadership that makes sure that budgets are passed, that the budget that's allocated to infrastructure development is actually spent on that, so that we don't have issues of holes or potholes in Makhanda like we're seeing, and issues of water within municipalities.
You would understand that in the last week, the Premier, when he spoke or tabled his State of the Province address, one of the priorities that he tabled is the priority of ensuring that the Eastern Cape has a capable and ethical leadership. And that's one of the focus areas going forward, to make sure that we have in place at the level of political leadership, at the level of administrators, people that are skilled, that are able to take the required decisions at the time that those decisions are required. And part of what will be happening going forward is to strengthen the work that has been started in the 6th administration. You'd understand that from the cooperative governance MEC's office and the department as a whole, they've been driving expenditure when it comes to conditional grants, and they've set up systems within that department working with municipalities to ensure that municipalities are able to utilize the funds that they get through conditional grants to deal with the challenges that they have in their own spaces. So we are looking at enhancing such issues, and also enhancing the issue of accountability, such that it does not end with just the Auditor General, but there are actions that are taken beyond the audit outcomes or the findings and recommendations of the Auditor General. Even the Premier, he is required by the Auditor General to take certain decisions and ensure that he follows through in terms of implementing those decisions to enable or to turn around the situation that we are seeing, either at the level of political government as well as the level of local municipalities. And also we're just looking at this opportunity to onboard private sector, onboard civil society, so that we can advise each other, we can work together in terms of developing the province.
And lastly, Kusela, we'll also see in the next 2 days a memorandum of understanding being signed by all the stakeholders, which is really a coming together to say that as a unison we can do so much more in dealing with the issues of infrastructure within districts.
We have a 5-year strategy that has just been adopted or tabled by the Premier, and from that departments have developed their operational plans. And obviously in the time and age that we live in, the resources within government are not enough to deal with some of those challenges. So the idea is to say we want to, if for example you look at the work that is being done by Sanral in the area of the Wild Coast in terms of developing that stretch of road, the idea is to say what are other things that can happen in and around this specific project that can enhance economic development in that area. So those are some of the conversations that we are hoping to have in the next 2 days to bring civil society on board, and we have a clear memorandum in terms of how we are going to be working together to achieve these goals that have been set for the next 5 years.
Thank you so much. Well, that was Kusela Ranji, government spokesperson of the Eastern Cape, speaking about the district development model engagement taking place in Gqeberha over the next 2 days, saying that it's really a coming together of private sector, civil society organizations, traditional leaders, private sector and government coming together to try and find solutions, and saying that key to that will be the signing of the memorandum of agreement, which will see all these stakeholders utilizing their strengths to try deal with issues of infrastructure at a district level. But for now, let's go back to you in studio.
Lerato Fekisi there reporting from Gqeberha.